Good evening, and welcome to Hilarity. So tonight's theme is husband and father struggles, which kind of sounds like the theme of 2020, but whatever. So I am so glad you're all here, and let us begin with prayer. God, we thank you so much for this time together. We thank you for allowing us to join in laughter, both here and those on the live stream. I pray that this time would be enjoyable, would show people new things, and most of all, just give some comic relief to this everyday world. In your name we pray. Amen.
All right. So, yeah, I kind of misunderstood what Parent told me. He said it was going to be mistakes dads and husbands make, and I thought it said steaks. I thought this was going to be a cooking class today. So, T-bone, sirloin, all that. So, don't need that. So, I guess I'll just riff, just make something up on the fly right now. So, when I found out it was mistakes dads and husbands make, I looked at Sherry and she said, I don't have anything. You're too awesome. And so I decided I was going to call. I got sister-in-law, brothers, sister-in-laws, all this, and I said, well, you know what? I'm going to anonymously talk to one of my sister-in-laws, and I'm not going to say who it is. Hey, Mitra. I'm not going to say who it is, but I talked to her and I said, hey, you got to tell me mistakes my brother makes and everything like that. And she said, man, it's just like Sherry. She goes, I got this trophy husband. He can't do any wrong. You can't do any wrong. And I said, yeah, that's just the way we were raised, I guess. I don't know. So, then the two sister-in-laws start talking. They start, what about this? What about this? What about this? And we say, well, no. You're looking at it all wrong. We're teaching the kids lessons, right? We're teaching the kids lessons. What we're teaching them about is just different life lessons. One of the things we're teaching them about is language. Language is an easy one. So, I found out you can't babysit your own kids, right? I guess you have to just raise them all the time. So you can't babysit. So I learned what babysit means. The other one I've learned is only or just. Like as in, well, yeah, it went pretty well. She was just in labor for 24 hours. Or only 24 hours. So, that's, I'm giving them examples on how to do stuff. Then I teach them about math. There's 3 cookies. I get 2, and they can split the last one. So then they understand math. Now, the other thing that we work on a lot is communication. And this, I think, I'm gonna step out a little bit. I think it's more mom's thing, but talking through clenched teeth. Ventriloquism. Talking through clenched teeth. Now, they usually learn that because when we had kids and they started sitting in the back and the little parrots would repeat things, I had to rethink how I spoke to other drivers from the driver's seat. So, now I've had to retrain. My adjectives have changed a lot, my descriptors, things like that. They also understand hand signals a little bit different now, too. So we've been working on that as well. Now, the other part I've taught them is during, I don't know, maybe a football game, that answers everything. However they want it answered, that's what they get. House is on fire. I want to open the whole fridge. And then what they learn on the flip side is interpersonal skills. Because then when it happens the other way, they sit there and they say, well, Dad said I could. I never said you could. I just said, So also shifting blame. They've got to learn how to shift blame. So sometimes somebody will leave a Coke can out or a bottle or something. Depends on who's in there. So it teaches them they need to always be around. Don't get out of my sight. Now, the last thing they learned in that is negotiation. I want to go to, you need to go to sleep right now. I want to stay up 10 more minutes. Okay, I'll give you 5. I want 20. And then we start going backwards, and I start going 4, 3, 2, 1. And so usually we start about where we ended up, or end up where we started. So the other thing they're learning is culinary, that we did have some culinary skills. They've learned about the magic food box. And they don't understand it just yet. And I don't know that I understand it. But we call it the magic food box because food just magically appears in there. And I'll tell Sherry, I'll say, hey, you were only gone for 2 hours. You couldn't get that much. Because when I go over there, I'm not even sure they sell bananas. I don't know my way around the place. I'm looking for apples. I don't even know where it is. And then the other thing that they've learned is physics. For example, if I'm sitting on the couch and my legs are up, it is physically impossible for me to put them down and go get something myself. It just doesn't work. The pillows are under there. There's probably a blanket on top. Usually there's a cat. I can't move, so they have to do it. That's what they have to do. But I think the most important one we've been working on is time management. And time management works like this. Mom's going to be home at 5:30. Cartoons are going to be over at 5. That means we have 30 minutes to do a 2-hour job. So they learn how to work real fast and under pressure. So I think that'll serve them well in life. Now the other thing they learn, the flip side of that, is that Dad can bend time. So they want to go do something. They want to go do something. Hey, we'll do this. You want to do this? I want to go outside. I want to do this. Okay, that's cool. I was like, just let me finish this game, just to watch the end of the game. And they say, well, how much is left? And I said, well, you can see on the clock, it says 20 seconds. And then 30 minutes later, when the game actually ends, then we can maybe go do stuff. So one of the things that I was kind of thinking about in this whole thing was how much easier it was before we had kids to actually know how to handle kids. So, that's why, I've helped I pretty much raised my niece and nephew over there. And that's really why, I am the world's okayest uncle, according to them. The world's okayest uncle. And they still know I'm cooler than their dad. So there we go. Win-win. All done.
It's great to know that you are the world's okayest uncle. Maybe I need to hook up with you to get one of those shirts because my nieces and nephews never tell me that. But this little bit that I've got going here is a country classic by Loretta Lynn. Now, I'm not going to tell you what the name of the title is because if you've heard Loretta Lynn before, you may have heard this song before. But here it goes. I wasn't much more than a baby. I thought he was a bear. The way my daddy carried me around. They said I learned to walk while holding on to just one finger on the hand of a man that's standing 6'3". Not old enough to understand the meaning of depression, just something people talk about a lot. My daddy wasn't one to try to make no big impression, just one heck of a man that worked for what he got. They don't make men like my daddy anymore. Guess they've thrown away the pattern through the years. And in that great big land of freedom, I know we really need them. They don't make men like my daddy anymore. From the Johnson County Courthouse to the hills of West Virginia, my daddy worked down in them dark coal mines. Education didn't count so much as what you had for memory, like the will to live and a dream of better times. Daddy never took a handout. We ate pinto beans and bacon, but he worked to keep the wolf back from the door. And it only proves one thing to me: when folks start belly aching, they don't make 'em like my daddy anymore. They don't make men like my daddy anymore. Guess they've thrown away the pattern through the years. And in that great big land of freedom, I know we really need 'em. They don't make men like my daddy anymore. They don't make men like my daddy anymore.
Thank you, Dorada and Kevin and Leanne, and for all of the wonderful things you all have done this evening. I'm going to use a stool tonight because I'm older now. And this is what you do when you get to be this age. It is good to be here tonight and good to see everybody. See, Leanne and Terry Tosh and I, we just got back from Ada, Oklahoma. Church meeting today, a Presbyterian meeting, and the good news is no one got shot today. This is a good thing. I actually appreciate those church meetings when no one gets injured, but we can talk about those at another time. But also, yesterday I got a chance to see my son. Jonathan is a student at the University of Tulsa, and I took things to him and, of course, took him grocery shopping because that's what his mama wanted me to do, to make sure that he's got food to eat. But I got a chance to see him, and I'm so proud of Jonathan. He is doing so well. He's looking more and more like a man and acting more and more like a man. Very proud of him. We'll be that much more prouder when he is gainfully employed after all of this is done. Now, Jonathan right now has a work-study job there at the University of Tulsa, but it does not pay much. But my son likes to, the word that he uses is flex. He likes to flex. He likes to show that he can do some things. So he is easily taking the little money that he gets, and who knows what he is doing with that money. My hunch is he's probably taking all of his friends to the vending machine and buying everybody chips. Chips on Jonathan. He's got money to buy chips, for Doritos for you, Cheetos for you, and some Lay's for you. Chips for everyone. He's able to do that. But we're gonna help him in that regard when it comes to getting a little bit more money. But tonight's thing is dealing with struggles that husbands have and struggles that dads have. And I could not help but to think about my old man and my mother and all of the things that we saw growing up. And for a very long time, I thought my father was perfect. And then the day came when I realized that he was not. And the reason why I realized that he was not was because Mama told me that he was not. She said, "Look at your father." Then that means something ain't quite right going on with it. But then I began to pay attention to a lot of the things that Pop would do. My father was a closet mechanic. He worked in a garage when he was a teenager, and he thought that, and this is what, back in 1940, 1950 something, he thought that whatever he learned then was going to work on cars in this particular day and age. So he was a closet mechanic, and he thought that I would share the same passion for fixing cars that he did, and that was never going to happen. I watched Pop, and I made up in my mind right then and there that I was going to always have some money so I could take my car to the shop, because this is ridiculous. I'm not going to go this route. We put a horn on one car, and it didn't work, and then he decided he was going to, after he gave me a car, my first car, my heater went out, he decided he was going to put a brand new heater in the car, and he did successfully. Cooked my feet every time I turned it on. Let me tell you how bad it was. I took Mama someplace on one occasion. She was in the car, she was sniffing. She's like, "Did we bring sandwiches?" I didn't think, did we do? I said, "No, Mama, that's your feet just cooking." So Pop did this thing. He fixed the heater. My old man was always doing something along that line. On one occasion, on one occasion, he decided he was going to put together a TV stand for me, and he did. He and I put it together. He would not let me read any instructions. He was not going to let that happen. Now, my father had for years put stuff together, but he had come to the point in his life where he thought that he just knew everything when it came to that. So he said, look, I said, Pop, here are the instructions. We don't need those. He said, put the box up against the wall so we can see what the TV stand looks like. We're going to put this thing together. Y'all, by the time we were through, I know there were at least 5 or 6 screws that we did not use. There was some other stuff that we did not use either. And he was proud of it but it leaned to the side. Mama came over later on and she looked at it and she said, your father put that together, didn't he? I said, yeah, Mama, he wouldn't let me read any instructions on that. Pop was always involved in doing things along that line. Oh, this is good. So math is not my strong suit. It is not. I'm surprised. Lauren does very well with math. She says, it just comes to me. I understand it. I'm like, well, baby, that's Jesus and not genes, because that didn't come from any of us. But I remember when I was younger having problems with math, and my mother would send me to Pop to try to help me. And Pop would look at what I had done, and he would look at the textbook. And on one occasion, he just looked at me and said, well, son, you just going to make some F's. But don't feel bad. You know, a lot of people have made it through school making F's in math, and not everybody needs math. I said, no. I said, I think, Pop, everybody does need math. He said, no. No, not everybody. Look at your cousin, George. Your cousin, George, doesn't need math. He's got a retail store, and he's doing just fine. I said, I'm pretty sure he uses math in that retail store. No, not your cousin, George. Now, George had a twin, and see, the clinical term for what was wrong with George's twin was that he was nuts. He was nuts. It was just, that's all we can describe. Something wrong with George. He was one of those situations where the family didn't talk about him much. You know, with George's brother, nobody talked about him often. You know, we never saw him. And the true story behind this, on one occasion, the family decided, this is long before I was born, the family decided that they were going to actually put George's brother in a mental institution. So they had George take his brother to the institution. And his twin jumped out of the car and ran into the institution and said, he's out there. He's out there. And they took George and they locked George up for about a month before the family figured out what was going on. So I said, Pop, are you sure that it's George who is the one that I may be like and not the other? Because I'm pretty sure the other one struggled with math like I'm struggling with math and like you struggle with math. But that was Pop. Oh my goodness. He called me a few years ago. I was here at church working. And he called me and he said, hey, I need you to come over here to the house and turn the TV down. I said, what? He said, I need you to come over here to the house and turn the TV down. It's too loud. I said, Pop, I'm not driving all the way to Oak Cliff to turn down the TV. I said, I'm not 6 years old anymore. And that's what you do. You know, when you, before we had remote controls with televisions, that's what parents did. They would stay in the house and they would call for their child, Junior, come on in here. And Junior would come running in, sweat running off of his body because he's been outside playing all day. And Junior, come in here. And Junior would come in. Well, what you need? What you need? Why you calling me? Why you calling me? Put it on channel 11 for me. I'm trying to watch the news. You do it yourself. What you say? Nothing. I'm going back outside. I said, Pop, I'm not 6. Anyway, I'm not coming over there to turn the TV down. So a few hours later, my mother called. And she's hot, salty. Went up a couple of times when Mama was this salty. And she said, we need you to come over here and turn down the television. I said, Mama, why can't you just turn it down? It's your father's television. He doesn't want me to touch it. Now, Pop's legally blind at this time. He's legally blind, and he's not moving fast at all. I said, Mama, by the time you go up there and turn the TV down, he wouldn't know what hit him. You can do it and be back in your seat in no time. No, just come on over here. I said, Mom, I'm not coming over there. Turn down the television. 2 days later, I go see my parents. Honest to goodness truth. I could hear the television from the street. Now, I'm disturbed, and I've forgotten that they called me a couple of days before to come turn it down. I walk into the house and say, what's going on in here? Why is the TV so loud? And Pop has got his eyes closed. And Mama's looking like this. Looking back and forth at him into the TV. I said, Mama, this is all you got to do. I walked up there, pushed a couple of buttons, and it went down. I said, that's all you got to do. I said, look, Mom, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go buy a universal remote. You can now use this, and you can turn that TV up and down however you want to do it. And she said, we got a bigger problem than that. I said, what's that, Mama? She said, we can't find the first remote. I said, Pop, where was the remote? He said, it was in my hand. I said, obviously it's not there now. I said, where is it? Did it fall under your chair? So I get down on the floor, I look under his chair. I find other things under his chair that we're not going to talk about. But nevertheless, I said, it's not under your, where is the remote, Pop? I don't know where it is then. If it's not in my hand, which it wasn't, I don't know where it is. The dude was sitting on it. His behind turned the TV up super high so that it disturbed the neighbors. I said, Pop, come on now. Now, my father, has served as church executives and pastored churches and all of these types of things. He is a magnificent planner, and he really does plan very well. But he does not plan trips well, family trips. Now, we did not have a lot of money growing up. You know, we didn't. Both of my parents worked. My father was a pastor, but he also had sometimes 2 and 3 jobs outside of serving churches. So we did not have a lot of money. So a lot of times when we took trips, we'd either go see family or it was a church trip, like a presbytery meeting or a general assembly meeting or something along that line. So my mother wanted to take an actual family vacation, and my father got excited. I know where we can go, and I got it all covered. And she said, what do you mean you got it all covered? I got it planned. I got it all covered. So Pop wanted to take us to San Antonio to go to SeaWorld. That's what he wanted to do. Oh, my goodness, me and my brother were excited. SeaWorld, yeah, let's go to SeaWorld. This is going to be an amazing trip. The problem is, Pop never got any reservations for us to stay anywhere in San Antonio. It's July, y'all, a very busy time in the city. So we drive down to San Antonio, and on our way down, my mother says, well, baby, where are we going to be staying? He said, I don't know. She said, what do you mean you don't know? Well, it's San Antonio, it's a big city. We're just going to find a hotel and we'll be fine. She said, I think you should have made reservations. And then the conversation begins. Not only should you have made reservations, you should have let me make the reservations. I would have had this thing planned and ready to go. And this continues for a couple of hours. So we get to San Antonio. We go to the first hotel, no vacancies. We go to another hotel, no vacancies. We, I think, went to almost every hotel in San Antonio, and there were no rooms available. So 3 of us slept in the car that night. My brother and I slept in the car. My father slept in the car. Mama was in the car, but she didn't go to sleep. Eyes just piercing through Pop. And every once in a while, I would hear him say, "I know you're looking at me. I know you're looking at me. It's going to be better tomorrow." Well, the next day came, and it actually was better. We did find a hotel downtown San Antonio, the only hotel that actually had a couple of rooms available. So Pop booked those rooms. But what Pop did not realize is that there was a convention going on in that hotel. Chippendale dancers were in that hotel. So we get out the car, me and my brother, and all of these guys, you know, with no shirts on, oiled up, as we were walking past them and going in to the hotel to get our room. We went in quickly, Pop went in quickly. Took Mama a long time to come up to the room. On that day. Took her a very, very long time to get up there. Well, there are a couple of scriptures that I want to share with you tonight. And Bill, if you don't mind putting those, displaying those, please. The first is Ephesians 5:28, just the B portion, which says, "He who loves his wife loves himself." And the second, Ephesians 6:4, says, "Parents or fathers, do not provoke your children to anger. He who loves his wife loves himself." And despite of everything that I have mentioned on this evening, I watched my father love my mother tremendously. And he really did. And from watching how my father respected my mother and treated her, it showed me and my brother exactly how we should treat and respond to our wives right now. And right now, Terry is out with Lauren. They're doing some shopping. But if she was here right now, she would tell you that I am the most amazing husband that anyone could ever find. And she would be, "Yeah, I'm sorry, Kevin, but that's true." And Carrie, yeah, "I'm better than you. I'm better than you." But no, that's what she would tell you. But we learned, my brother and I learned how important it is to love our wives from watching how my father loved Mama. And then the second verse, "Parents, do not provoke your children to anger." One of the things that Pop has also done is he's just let me and Xavier be the men that God has created us to be. That's it. He's not interfered at all. Matter of fact, when I first talked to him about preaching, he tried to convince me not to do that. He worked hard to try to get me to find something else to do, a different path. And according to Pop, it was not until the Lord told him to leave me alone, because God had plans for me, that he backed off and allowed me to become the man that the Lord would have me to be. And therefore, we're trying to do the same with Jonathan and Lauren. So Jonathan is a political science major. He is thinking about perhaps going into law school after he graduates from the University of Tulsa, which I told him that we're all for that, and we're behind him 100%. He needs to make sure that he works several jobs during the summer to save up for that, because we're paying for this woman. That's as far as we're going to go in this regard. And Lauren, she has wanted to be a flautist. She's wanted to be a chef. She has wanted to be a kung fu master. She has wanted to be a dancer. She has wanted to I'm missing something. A cheerleader. She wanted to be a cheerleader. All of these things, and of course, we want her to explore and see what it is that she would like to do. It's interesting though, because my baby doesn't like to sweat. She doesn't like sweating, and she got halfway through her cheerleading year, and she said, "I think I need to quit." I said, "Why is that, baby?" Because they're making us do practice, and I wasn't planning on being at practice, and we sweat at practice. We don't sweat during the game. We sweat. I said, "If you want to do this, this is how it has to go." And in our house, you don't quit stuff. You start it, you carry it through until the end of that year or what have you, and then you get to move on. But now she wants to be a pediatrician, and she's really doing well. She's a part of a medical program in her high school, and this is something that she would like to be able to do. Well, we want her to be able to follow her heart and follow her dreams, because for me, I watched my old man treat me and my brother this way. And the only time, the only time that Pop said I could not do something was when I came home and said I was going to do stand-up. And which is true. I graduated from college, and I came home, and I said, Pop said, what you going to do with your life, son? You got out of school, you got a degree. Let's see how you going to make money. What are you going to do? I said, I'm going to go to Hollywood and take Arsenio Hall's place. He didn't support that at all. But nevertheless, he has been there for us through everything. So it has been a blessing having a father like I have. And I'm sure that we are thankful for the fathers that we have or have had as well. And it is good to have someone like this that will take care of you and provide for you as best as he can. Moms as well, but we'll get to moms at another time. Now, as far as husbands are concerned, let me tell you, this last weekend, took my wife to Comic-Con. Yes, I did. She wanted to go, and this is one of the few times that she has wanted to go, and we went, and we had a wonderful time on Saturday until she talked to a vendor who she was buying some stuff from, and he looked at me and he said, what do you think your husband would like to have? And she said, anything but Batman. Anything but Batman. We got enough Batman stuff. And I just want you all to know that you never have enough Batman stuff. He's the Dark Knight. There's always room for Batman and Jello. There's always room in your life for these individuals, for Batman and for Jello. All right, I think I'm about done. The important thing here is that as parents, as spouses, we do run into some situations and some times that are challenging. We do. Last story, and then I'm done. Pop saved our marriage. A lot of people don't know this. Terry and I were headed for divorce, and we were not even aware, or at least I was not aware of it, but Pop stepped in and saved our marriage. We had been married about 3 months. 3 months. And Pop came to visit us in Waco, Texas, and he looked in our front room and he said, you all only have one television. And I said, that's right. I said, we don't need 2 TVs. We're good. He said, football season is going to start soon. I said, look, my wife loves what I love. We're going to be just fine. What I enjoy, she enjoys. What I appreciate, she appreciates. And he looked at me and he said, okay. He came back the next weekend with a TV. And he said, here's another wedding gift for you. And yes, you're welcome, because I just saved yours. So that's what he did. So Pop has always been there for us through and through. So please, today, be thankful for your folks. Be thankful for them. Be thankful for those, if you're married, be thankful for those who you are married to. For the Lord is at work in all of our relationships. And for those of us who are parents, yeah, we do make mistakes from time to time. Yeah, we do mess up. Those of us who are married, sometimes we do fall short. This is the blessing and the benefit of grace that is extended to all of us from God, that we should extend to each other, and especially in those relationships that are so important to us. So right now, Bill, if you don't mind, we've got one video, and then we will be ready to leave. So right now, Bill, if you don't mind, we've got one video.
Desiraye just the other day. He came to the world in the usual way, but there were planes to catch and bills to pay. He learned to walk while I was away, and he was talking for I knew it. And as he grew, he'd say, I'm gonna be like you, Dad. You know I'm gonna be like you. And the cat's in the cradle and the silver spoon, little boy blue and the man on the moon. When you're coming home, Dad, I don't know when, but we'll get together then. You know we'll have a good time then. My son turned 10 just the other day. He said, thanks for the ball, Dad, come on, let's play. Can you teach me to throw? I said, not today, I got a lot to do. He said, that's okay, and then he walked away, but his smile never dimmed and said, I'm gonna be like him, yeah, you know I'm gonna be like him. And the cat's in the cradle and the silver spoon, little boy blue and the man on the moon. When you're coming home, Dad, I don't know when, but we'll get together then. You know we'll have a good time then. Well, he came from college just the other day, so much like a man I just had to say, son, I'm proud of you, can you sit for a while? He shook his head and he said with a smile, what I'd really like, Dad, is to borrow the car keys. See you later, can I have them please? And the cat's in the cradle and the silver spoon, little boy blue and the man on the moon. When you're coming home, son, I don't know when, but we'll get together then, Dad. You know we'll have a good time then. I've long since retired, my son's moved away. I called him up just the other day. I said, I'd like to see you if you don't mind. He said, I'd love to, Dad, if I can find the time. You see, my new job's a hassle and the kids are the flu, but it's sure nice talking to you, Dad. It's been sure nice talking to you. And as I hung up the phone, it occurred to me, he'd grown up just like me. My boy was just like me. And the cat's in the cradle and the silver spoon, little boy blue and the man on the moon. When you're coming home, son, I don't know when, but we'll get together then, Dad. We're gonna have a good time there.
Thanks for being here on this evening. For those of you joining us online, we're grateful for you as well. Don't forget, worship tomorrow morning, 10 o'clock, and we will continue to have a good time in the presence of the Lord. So now receive this blessing. May the Lord allow you to laugh loudly. May the Lord allow you to laugh long. And may the Lord allow you to laugh leaving. God bless you. Thank you for being with us on tonight. And we're done. God bless you. Thank you for being with us on tonight. And we're done.